tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzz TV Star Wars Rebels fans. Welcome to the Star Wars Rebels After Show, Season 2, Episodes 17 or 19, depending on how you are counting them, The Forgotten Droid. Thank you, everybody who's in the live chat right now. You guys have been hanging out for a while. We appreciate your patience. Here we are. It's all happening. If you guys have not done so already, please be sure to go on over to iTunes and subscribe to us there. Leave us reviews. If you do, you'll get a shout out on the show, like some people are going to get today, because we have 3 new reviews on iTunes. I know. Like, happy birthday to me, right? 3 beautiful new reviews on iTunes. I really appreciate it, guys. But if you are listening on iTunes, be sure that you go over to YouTube, because then you can also see our lovely faces as well as hearing our lovely voices discussing all things Star Wars Rebels. And you can also watch live, as many of you are doing right now, and we are following along with the live chat. I want to give a shout out right away to that one Stormtrooper. That's a username in the chat, and I love it, and I just have to assume that you're secretly Steve Bloom, but that's just me.
I was going to say, dear Stormtrooper, are you one of the 3rd voiced by Steve Bloom? We must know.
Though Stormtrooper number 2 this week was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Seriously?
Oh my
it was
God.
in the credits.
It was in the credits.
We know. We looked.
It was in the credits. We studied them very hard.
But if it was Steve Bloom, then it would have to be that 3rd Stormtrooper.
That's true. That's true.
There's an algorithm,
It would have to be
No.
Stormtrooper number 3.
I know. Who
Or
is
6 or
Stormtrooper
9
number
or
1?
12.
I feel like Stormtrooper number 1's more unique.
They
I don't
can be
know.
whoever they want to be.
Yes, again, guys, thank you. We are following along with the live chat as well as that hashtag ABTV Rebels. I am Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe. And I am joined by the usual suspects this evening, Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
And Katie Cullen.
You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. Go wish Emma a happy birthday. Do
Yes.
it. Do it.
Thank you, everyone on the internet who wished me happy birthday. Thank you, Hassan, so much for my Leia Funko figures and the beautiful note that you sent me as well. Yeah, it was really magical. You guys all made me feel really, really special. Yeah, thank you, Renee, and all kinds of other people who watch this show, I know, every week and are also really active on Twitter. I felt very loved.
That's really sweet of you guys.
Yeah,
It really is.
I really, really feel loved and appreciated, and I just appreciate you guys like being so involved and checking out this show.
Happy birthday!
Thank you guys.
I want to point this out in the chat because Renji said, I think what we were all thinking when the episode started. Did anyone think the droid looked like Tom from Toonami?
Oh,
everyone thought the droid looked like Tom.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna say that was intentional, but since Tom,
Looks like Tom, sounds like Alan Rickman.
I know. Yeah, no, it was so funny. The AP5, the protocol droid, like, oh my gosh, I just kept thinking Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was this little pain in my heart. And then he kind of died at the end of the episode.
No!
So then I was crying, and then it all worked out okay in the end.
I picked up on the Tom thing right away, but it took me a little while before I was like, who does he remind me of?
I got it
Who does
right
that
away.
It's like,
voice
he's just
remind
a
me of?
grumpy British guy. Why?
I love that there's a R2-D2 C-3PO dynamic now without them being carbon copies of R2-D2
Not
and
at
C-3PO.
all.
Can we keep them? Can we keep A5? I want him.
Yeah, I mean,
can we keep him?
it seems like AP5 might be sticking around, which I would be totally fine with because I'm a fan. Like
I liked it.
Yeah. And the thing is, so as you say, that was what I really, really enjoyed about this character, because we've been in this upswing of like nonstop Jedi action, and it's been great. It's been really great. The plot has been driving forward. The stakes are getting raised. It's really, really serious. But this episode, I hesitate to call filler, because I thought it was a very necessary character-centric episode for Chopper.
Oh, no, it was.
Well-
this isn't filler. This is backstory, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention that this is probably, if we are keeping him, then this is set up for probably the season finale, because now we have a droid with a thorough knowledge of the Imperial Army's like tactics and their weapon inventory and all sorts of other really useful information.
Seriously, what a great asset to the Rebel team.
Ah. Just like, by the way, it's a trap.
Yeah.
We should go
It's
somewhere
probably
else.
a
I know.
trap.
I just really, like, in that moment, was like, I just want to, like, tweet Akbar memes, like, all over the place.
I know, right?
It's a trap! Yeah, that would have been...
What is it about Star Wars that just has characters saying it's a trap in like just adorable ways?
I know.
Kiki Lopez says he's the one droid that Chopper hasn't tried to murder.
That's true. Like, the opposite of murder. Like, this was a very... It was such an interesting friendship dynamic that they got. So basically, we took AP5 from villain to incredibly sympathetic, complex, interesting character in the span of about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that the emotional sort of, there was a real brilliance, I thought, behind this episode. Because Chopper himself doesn't speak English. He speaks in
Chopperese,
and
whatever that is.
and- yeah, exactly. He's sort of like the
clicks to be
teacher.
Charlie Brown
from
teacher,
Charlie
yeah.
Brown. Yeah, the Charlie Brown teacher. But yet, in his and on top of that, he is interacting with an incredibly monotone protocol droid, and yet you care so much about both of these characters.
Yeah, no, just the and you can tell the way his voice changes from the beginning of the episode when he's just resigned to doing what it is that they're forcing him to do, and then by the end of the episode where he's actually being I mean, he's still very monotone, but he's being sarcastic with Chopper and joking with him, and it's real cute, and I have a real soft spot for like robots have emotions story.
Totally, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and part of that turn was Chopper taking the control bolt?
Yeah.
Something like that off of him, something that held him to
the
his
restraining
protocol.
the restraining thing. Yeah, like they had one of those on C-3PO in, gosh, I'm trying to remember which of the movies it was. I think Empire, when they were all in Cloud City. Yeah. The restraining bolt. It was really Chopper. I mean, because the thing is about Chopper, as we have established many times on this podcast, is he is a murderous,
He's a
homicidal,
murderbot, Terminator, whatever.
Sociopath. Yeah, like, exactly. He's a Terminator.
He's
I love
chaotic
it.
neutral.
Yeah. Chopper does what he wants, and that's honestly, I think that's what it is. Like, that's what makes Chopper like such. I think that's why I feel this incredible connection to this character and just want as much Chopper as possible, because he is the most opposite astromech droid from R2-D2 that like you could get. Like R2-D2, he's a loose cannon too a little bit, but not in the way that Chopper is. Like,
No, Chopper's the reason I fear the robot uprising.
exactly.
I don't remember if it was an interview of some sort, but someone said that R2-D2 was kind of like the loyal dog and Chopper was the ornery cat. And when he's running around with the leg running away from people, I have been trying for 3 days to give pills to my cat, and that I was having flashbacks of trying to catch Winter. Just like, this is exactly what chasing a cat is like.
I will also say, too, that Chopper floating in the air and using a robot appendage as a propeller, that is the stuff of nightmares.
And just Chopper in general. Okay, so ostensibly, the sort of catalyst of this was, okay, we need to make this jump to the Yost system. Or Yost system, I wrote it down.
Yost?
Yost,
Y-A-S-T,
definitely
I
Yost.
think, yeah.
Yep, Yost. And it was cool because Ketsu Onyo was back, and so she was like helping out with this whole plan, and they're like,
Gina
great.
Torres.
Oh, God, she's great. I just need more Gina Torres all the time.
Can we just have a minute and have a woman crush on her?
100%.
Woman Crush Wednesday.
Hashtag Woman Crush Wednesday.
100%.
Yes.
And guys, while we are on the
like,
topic of love interests and celebrities that we're in love with, Are you guys curious about a celebrity boyfriend's midlife crisis? Enjoy hearing stories about behind the scenes of Hollywood? Amused by old TV and movie references? Well, then you'll love The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. Kevin Undergaro is one of the creators of AfterBuzz. So join AfterBuzz creator Maria Menounos, his fiance Kevin Undergaro, along with AfterBuzzer co-hosts Roxy Stryer, Ashley Daniels, and others for all the insanity. Watch live Monday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time on thetomorrowshow.com, or subscribe and download free on iTunes. Go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information and to see many pictures of millennials in Star Trek uniforms. Because I'm sure if you guys like Star Wars, you might also like Star Trek. I sure do.
Zach Wilson also made it into the air
Yeah!
show.
That's amazing.
Well, all right.
Yeah, if any of you guys are fans of Agent Carter or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Jessica Jones or any number of the Marvel things, I'm sure you're familiar with Zach Wilson. He's a wonderful human being. And yes, you can see him on there. So
Well, and Roxy's a
support
mainstay
it.
on the
Yeah,
DC shows.
Yeah, and Roxy's awesome. So go
Yes.
support, you guys. Support the things that our coworkers are doing.
Lots
Yes.
of real cool people working on that show.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Go take a gander.
Exactly. So go take a gander. But back to Gina Torres, because she's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, the idea was like, okay, so we gotta get our fuel and gear in line, and we're all gonna make this jump to the Yaw system, and then they go down to this planet, and literally the entire catalyst for this episode is Chopper has mismatched legs. And so he sees a matching leg to one of his legs and decides to seal it.
I was, for a minute, I was like, is this going to be like the story of like how his leg was stolen from him and this like becomes like a little revenge quest, like trying to become whole again? But we never really got confirmation as to whether or not that was his former leg.
I know, yeah. Well,
I'm going to go with not, because it looked pretty new.
yeah. I mean, basically, we kind of find out that, like, Chopper ended up on a junk pile during all the Ryloth-ness that was happening, and then that was where, Hera found him and restored him.
And yeah, as he put it, rescues him.
Yeah.
Because, as AP5 put it, no one cares about droids.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a horrifying aspect of the Star Wars universe, that they have these sentient beings, because they are sentient and evidently can feel pain, that they create and treat like a slave class. Like, this is messed up, you guys.
Well, I mean, certainly the Empire does. I mean, but the thing is like, in the episode with Agent Callus, it's like, we've already kind of started to establish this idea that, like, the Empire does not care. Like, they do not care about their employees, be they human, droid, whatever. They're basic, like, if they had employee ID numbers, which I assume they do, like, they are their employee ID number.
But even that the Republic did it, and then in A New Hope, we see the Jawas kidnap them and sell them for parts or sell them wholesale. Like,
well,
this is
actually,
messed up.
I thought that was really interesting, because the like Gamorrean trader that they interacted with, that Chopper stole the leg from, like, he had all kinds of droid parts. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a protocol droid head hanging in the background that, like, looked like C3PO.
Yeah. So that means he's like cannibalizing parts from once sentient creatures, and that's real
It's
weird
like
to think
selling
about.
someone's leg.
I know.
Here's a leg. You need a new one?
But but no, there was it's funny that you bring that up, because there was an entire, for those of you who guys who watch Cracked, they have a series called After Hours, and they did an entire episode about droids in Star Wars being completely mistreated and how, like, they're the unsung heroes of the trilogy.
It's pretty horrifying.
It is. No, it really is a crazy thing to think about, because, as you say, like, these are not just, like, robots.
It's not Siri.
No. Like, they can think.
They have personalities.
For themselves, they have personalities. Oh, boy.
For some reason, they have pain receptors.
Yep.
I keep coming back to that. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why was I programmed to feel pain?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that seems like a not very logical choice.
We're going to make them like us, but not treat them like us.
Yeah.
Why would you program them
Great
to scream
plan.
like that?
Great plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I really, but yeah, I mean, and then, Chopper ends up on basically this cargo ship where he encounters AP5, who is, as we say, like, basically mistreated and just generally loathed by everyone he works for and with.
Well, he's like that really old guy that they hire because of progressive hiring practices, and he's really good at his job and actually quite wise in some things, but all the millennials don't care.
Yeah.
They just want it now.
It's that trope.
It's interesting.
It's that trope.
It's really interesting because like the sort of different ways in which AP5 and Chopper were treated after Ryloth are clearly they're the opposite. You know what I mean? Whereas like Chopper ended up on a junk heap. They kept AP5 around, even though their strategy was only 70% effective, according to him. But you know, Chopper he was rescued, he was renewed, and he became part of Hera's little family, so to speak.
Well, and probably her best, her best
yeah,
friend,
absolutely,
because her dad wasn't doing a super great job of watching her.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely different experiences. Chopper was picked up and loved and cared for, even if it was very much a misfit relationship.
Yeah.
And A5 was just basically discarded and is lucky to still be active.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they kind of, as you say, it's like they kind of just kept him around because, okay, yes, he did something useful in the past, so we can't deactivate him.
And then telling this sentient droid to its face, okay, so your replacement's going to come in and I'm going to make you program them and then we're going to murder you. Just like, yay! And they can't do anything because of the control bolt.
Yeah.
This is just so many flavors of mess.
There's not an
I
HR
know.
department you can talk to about that sort of
I don't think they have one in the Empire, no.
And even if they do, not for droids.
Nope, no one cares.
No.
So that's also kind of why it's interesting to get this episode and to have him straight up say, no one cares about droids, no one rescues droids.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, but this family's different. We're going to adopt you.
Well, and then when Chopper assists him and frees him from the little chip thing,
the
it's
restraining bolt.
Why would you do that? You're because you're my friend, and that's probably never
friendship.
been a word that he has ever heard in relation to his relationship with anybody
at all. And exactly. And then, later in the episode when Chopper's like, I'm going to bring you to my rebel crew, and AP5's response is, why would they treat me any different than the Empire? Because, again, it just goes back to the treatment of droids.
Yeah.
It's because prior, he was in the rebellion.
Of course, yeah.
And then the Empire took over, and, there's nothing changed for him.
Yeah, no. Well, and also, just kind of going back to the days of the Republic and the way that droids were handled then. I mean, they were sort of mass produced, and it was this conflict between droids versus clones.
Yeah, it was a droid army was the enemy.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. And that does kind of, and again, that brings up sort of that sort of moral dilemma of, okay, so we have this giant droid army, but they're treated with even less respect than the clones are, because the clones are all copies of one man and the droid army are all by and large the same, but again, still have personalities and the ability to think essentially and feel. So,
but the movies never depicted the droid army as such. They were all very samey, whereas it was, we want you to care about this droid. They have a personality.
Yeah, exactly.
We built C-3PO. R2-D2's been there since the beginning.
And again,
all of that fun
I mean
stuff.
that was very much the thing, and even Captain Rex brought it up earlier in the series, talking about clones in relationship to stormtroopers versus clones in relationship to droids, where it's the clones were superior because they were breathing, thinking human beings. Mm-hmm. And the droid army, as you say, is all very the
Hive
same.
mind.
But then you have all of these other outlier droids, these protocol droids and the astromech droids that are very human.
Yeah.
Astromech droids, even though they don't actually speak English, which it was so interesting to me, just the level of emotion and understanding you got out of this episode with Chopper, with just AP5 translating for him.
Yeah. Again, it's 3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, I do too. With these characters being nothing like 3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
I know, they're so great. I was so sad when that Imperial captain shot AP5.
We all were.
And
we were all just like, no.
And he fought with every last proverbial breath. It's not a real breath that he had to send over the different coordinates so they wouldn't
every
go into the
power
trap.
cell.
Yeah.
I for a moment, I legitimately thought they were gonna kill him.
Me too.
But
so
then,
did everybody in the chat.
but then they like immediately.
Hashtag Droid Lives Matter.
But then when Kanan immediately made a joke right afterwards, I'm like, that's not the tone that they're going for. If this guy was dead, it would be a lot more somber than that. It would, like that moment of silence would have been drawn out more.
I agree.
So like I knew right then that I was like, okay, they're not gonna kill him. But like for a minute there, I was like, this is really upsetting.
Son.
I'm not happy about this.
I did like pointing out we're putting the entire Rebel fleet in Chopper's
I
hands.
know. Yeah, that was,
try not to think about it.
That was probably my favorite quote of the entire episode. Also, the fact that Chopper had this great plan that he was going to lure the whole crew into the cargo bay and then just release them into space.
It works every time.
Murder as many
It's
people
still a
as
terrible
possible.
plan. Well, no, they were all armored. It should be pressurized for space.
Yeah. But
Hopefully. Should be.
He launches stormtroopers into space so often.
I know.
It's, like we're getting desensitized to it.
I mean,
I don't think we should
here's the
be.
thing, like, yes, I'm sure it's pressurized for space, but, like, how long are they going to last
Not
just
very.
floating around in space?
Not very. And the Empire, again, makes it very clear they do not care. They're not going to go back for, like, 5 stormtroopers. It doesn't matter to them.
Nope.
I will say my favorite interaction was when he called her from the freighter, and Hera's like, I know what you were up to. And that was just...
She also uses his full name.
Yeah, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Is when your middle name comes out, when your parent brings your middle name.
C110P. Chopper.
She's like, oh, honey.
That's when you know you're in trouble.
And and that image of Chopper just beating the crap out of someone with a leg.
Yes.
That'll stay with me forever in the best way possible.
So basically, we were all very happy with this episode, but man alive, does it have some unfortunate implications when it comes to droid treatment.
Totally does. So now you guys know what all of us think, and now let's talk about what some of you guys think of this podcast, because we're going to talk about some iTunes reviews. Yay! Thank you guys, by the way, for leaving iTunes reviews. It really, really helps us out. It basically lets our bosses here know, hey, we like this show. You should keep doing it. And also, people at like Lucasfilms and Disney, they go to iTunes and they're like, what's this? And they see a bunch of 5-star reviews and nice written reviews as well. And they go, maybe we should let them have cool guests come on the show and invite them to do cool things, which may or may not be happening in the near future. Anyway, so just to give some shout outs, we actually have 3 new reviews since the last time we had a show, because we were off last week. So again, this was like happy birthday to me, new lovely reviews, all 5 stars. The first one is by Matthew0318. This is from March 4th. Fantastic, 5 stars. By far the best of all the shows on the AfterBuzz network. Oh, that's so nice. I love it and look forward to it every week. I'm just sort of paraphrasing so we can get through all of these and then also wrap up the show. A very informative podcast, exclamation point, 5 stars. This is by Jen from Long Island, New York. Wanted to leave a review because I've been listening for a while, really impressed, not how much about how knowledgeable we all are, she says she loves Star Wars Rebels. She's confused about where it takes place in the timeline. This is all like 5, it's right before A New Hope.
After episode 3, before episode 4, just
yeah.
slot it in there.
And closer to the beginning of episode 4 than the end of episode 3. And then the last one, love this podcast, 5 stars by Darth Revan. Star Wars Rebels is one of my favorite shows. I'm glad I found this podcast. The hosts are really funny and knowledgeable and entertaining to listen to. They never fail to have great discussions about the episodes. Aww. So thank you so much, you guys. We really like hearing nice things from you.
Guess what? We love you all.
Yeah, basically that's what it all boils down to. So before we wrap up, let's dive into some real quick predictions and then say our goodbyes.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Chad is having a war over whether or not Ahsoka will survive to the end of the season. You guys know where I stand on that one. We didn't have much of a preview, but it looks like giant bone spiders on this. There's a reason the planet's uninhabited.
Yeah.
Bone spiders.
Yeah.
God, it's like the worst of Undertale enemies all put together. Just bone spiders. Okay.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Absolutely.
A legion of spiders.
I'm just waiting for everything to come full circle. We've got a lot of like moving pieces. We've got the Inquisitors, possible redemption arc for Callus. We've got the Ahsoka Vader thing. All of that's going to come to a head pretty soon, and I'm just really excited for it.
I'm all about it. I need more of the Callus story, and
we've got like what 86 minutes of screen time if we figure they're all 22 with commercials.
Yeah.
86 minutes of screen time.
And I want more of this odd couple that we
know,
now have.
I know. Like, just
go on adventures.
I feel
just
like
so many adventures.
feel like their adventures aren't going to be until next season, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because there are some big overhanging plot threads that I think need to get tied up a little bit before this season comes to a close.
Survive until next season, or I will be very upset. We introduced him. He's gone.
There you go, guys. You're welcome.
Yeah, we need to keep him.
Yeah, nope. Love AP5. Great addition to the crew. Again, it's so nice to have that C-3PO R2-D2 dynamic without them actually being anything like C-3PO or R2-D2, except that one of them is a protocol droid and the other one's an astromech droid.
You know what they are? Tom and Cat. They're Tomcat.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope.
Don't get it. I don't see it.
Nope.
Okay. Yes, so thank you so much for watching, listening, etc., guys. Katie, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I am also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I'm on Arrow will be back next week, I think, finally, after like 3 weeks. And Transformers Robots in Disguise is on Sunday nights.
Ooh, love it. Megan.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for The Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out.
I'm Emma Fyffe. You can follow me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe, which is my name. I do a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Face Off is later tonight. Also doing Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Bob's Burgers, all kinds of good stuff coming up in the future. Follow me on Twitter. You'll know all about it because I tweet a lot. Thank you again to everyone who joined us tonight, everybody in the hashtag, everybody in the live chat. We love you. You're fabulous. We will be at 8:30 again next week, and we'll be kind of stuck in that half-hour time slot. But don't you worry, because the week after that, we'll have a full hour. We're not sure when, but it's happening. Thank you again for joining us, guys, and we will see you all again next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.